Doing a little bit of training today. We've got a interesting issue with this Manitowoc ice machine. Apparently it's saying making ice, but hasn't actually produced ice in the last couple days. So we're gonna open it up and see if we can figure it out. All right, something's happening. All right, go ahead and just take all the panels off, get it all opened up. All right, so initially, what are we seeing? We got water's running. Um, the compressor's not running. We don't know if it's supposed to be running or what the issue is. I mean, it does say making ice, but we can go in the touchpad here and we can go to service. And we can go down to real time and data, and we can go to outputs. The outputs tell us what components are supposed to be energized. So water pump says on, hot gas valve off, hot gas valve off, air pump off, that's water inlet valve off, dump valve off, compressor contactor off, inputs, curtain switch is closed. They open that and it goes open. That's if it had two curtains. The low pressure control closed, which I don't even think this machine has. High pressure control is also closed. And this is if you had a bin level sat. So we're just kind of doing the check. So ice sense would also be if it had a bin stat. Water low, water high is your water level probe. So they're both sensing water. And then exit. So something is going on because it says it's in freeze or it says it's making ice. The main, oh, now it's dumping ice. Or assuming it's dumping water because the dump valve just opened. Because if we go back here, service, real-time data, outputs, water pump, and now the dump valve's open. So it might be going through some sort of like thaw cycle. Oh, look, it says remove ice. I don't know if it said that before. So the touchpad does say remove ice. I don't know why it's not focusing. So it says remove ice, which usually means the machine tried to make ice, but didn't, and now it's going through a thaw cycle. So it's going to fill with water, circulate the water, dump the water, refill, so on and so forth. It's going to do that several times. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the power button to turn it off. Now you just go to the home screen. Eventually what you're going to do is you're going to want to go back to that service menu, but you can also tell what's going on just by looking at the relays on the board. You have to kind of look a little closely to figure out which relay is labeled what, but it's actually a piece of cake. So if you remember the sequence of operations, you just hit the power button and then you kind of just work through the sequence. First 45 seconds, water pump and dump valve. You can see those two lights on the control board. And you can also navigate to the service menu. To hit the menu, down to service, and then real-time data, and then outputs. And if you scroll through them, you can see that the water pump and the dump valve are the only things that are energized. So you have two ways of telling which one's which. Now my theory, or my best guess is either the compressor is not going to start, or the compressor will start, and then possibly the condenser fan motor won't turn on, and the machine will shut off on high pressure. Usually it goes off on HPCO, but that's the harvest valve. Compressor started, so compressor's running. Water inlet valve just energized. So you can go to inputs. You got your water high, water low. Is it trying to run? Yeah. Oh, look at that. So you see how it's trying to move? Probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, good job. So that's pretty simple. Essentially what's going to happen is, since the fan's not able to turn, the compressor is going to overheat, it's going to shut off. For whatever reason, the machine didn't shut itself on HPCO, but we'll see. Let's just let it cut off, and that way we know what actually happens. So compressor shut off, and this says HPCO. That's what we should have seen when we showed up, but instead we saw our water remove. Unless we showed up at the exact time, I think possibly, and I don't want to wait for 60 minutes, that after this delay, it goes into a water thaw. And then after the water thaw, it tries again. They may have reset it before we showed up, so we don't really know. But long story short, condenser fan motor, you were sitting here staring at it, and that's just the fact that it doesn't spin freely is a good sign that the bearings inside that motor have gone bad, and we need to swap them out. All right, so we have a used condenser fan motor. Carry one around with me. I do a lot of different repairs on rental ice machines that are all basically the same type of machine, so I know what type of equipment that I need. I got lucky and I have the right one, so we're gonna turn the power off this machine. We're gonna remove the condenser fan motor, put this one in, and press forward, see if everything works. So now that we have the power turned off, essentially all that we're gonna be doing is taking the screws out of the back to allow this condenser to slide out a little bit to give us more access to the condenser fan motor. Working around all of this is just a real pain in the rear end, and we don't want to have to struggle all that hard, and allowing the condenser to slide out a little bit just makes the job a little bit easier. The wires for the condenser fan motor go to two different places, one being the fan cycle switch, which it's in here somewhere. I just don't see it right now. And then second wire goes to the contactor, which is inside this box. And then also the ground wire is inside this box. So I'm gonna open this up and disconnect the wires, get it ready for Alejandro while he pulls out the condenser fan motor. So the condenser is pulled out a little bit. So we have a little bit of room to kind of push this out. These two top screws on the condenser fan motor bracket come out completely, and then the bottom two just get loosened up, and the whole bracket and the fan motor and the fan blade and everything will just come out as one assembly, and we can set it up here and then trace the wires to where they go. Two of them go into here, so the white wire, the neutral wire, and then the ground wire both route into this box. And then I didn't find it earlier, but right down in here, one of these two is the fan cycle switch. One of the wires connects to one of these spades, and we'll just trace it to there and pull it off. And we just work on it, make sure it doesn't catch on anything. It should flow right up and out of there if you give yourself enough room. You're catching on something. Might be the other one of the fan blades down below. There, or you're hitting this. Move it like that way, or turn it at an angle. Try different things, because you're hitting this copper line with the bracket. I mean, you could try to take the fan blade off inside there as well. I try to take it out as one assembly. Hey, if you can take it out that way, take it out that way. So we're able to get the condenser fan motor. We ended up taking it out the side instead of trying to pull it up out of the top. Yes, you can loosen up this little nut right here and pull the blade off to make it easier. I find it easier to take it out as one assembly instead of having to work back here with a tool and a wrench and whatnot. But that's another option. If you really want to get fancy, you can take those off and pull the bracket off. That's even harder to do. Now all we're really doing is we're chasing these wires and taking them out from wherever they're plugged in at. So we got the wires disconnected and we're routing them out right now. And just like that, we got the whole assembly. Will you do me a favor, set it up here, just so we can show the difference if you put it on the bracket and then try to give that fan motor a spin. Yeah, see how that does not spin freely? So all we're gonna do is we're gonna take out this screw right here. The fan blade should slide up and off. If not, we'll spray it with some C's, E's, or something similar. Get the fan out of the way, then we'll flip it over. We'll take off those 4 nuts right there, then put that replacement motor on there, put the fan blade back on, and then we'll see what difference that makes. I like to try to match it up the same way, but it doesn't really matter as long as this is kind of in a similar position. If you imagine when you put this in here, these 2 slots are going to be pointed down. So if that capacitor was on the far edge, then you have to wrap it around the motor. So if you turn it even like this, if you turn it like that, when it's in there, the capacitor is pointing in the same direction as the wires.
Makes sense.
The only thing that's super important for, the position and, yeah, good. I didn't have to say it to you. You caught it beforehand. I was wondering if you were going to put it on backwards. The bolt lines up with the flat spot. There you go. And then if you position it right in the middle and then just give it a little tight, and then you'd be good to go. All right, so that's nice and snug now. Oh, once you get that rod out of there, it's just coming apart in pieces. That set screw or that nut head or bolt head, whatever you want to call it, it's not a standard size. So usually I end up using a wrench of some sort. So now give that thing a flick and let's see the difference of how it spins. Perfect. Yeah. It's not brand new, but it definitely spins better than the old one. And it beats paying $300 for a new motor or whatever it costs. Yeah, in reverse, you don't have to worry about the wires right now. Just get that in there first. That's going to be the tricky part. And I think the way I did it is the back end of that bracket went in first. So it went in like this. I put it in and then I rotated it around.
From the side?
Yeah, from the side. And if you need to move the blade a little bit, turn it to where it's like a low spot. Is that gonna work or no? Oh, you don't wanna bend the blades. There you go. And try not to let the blades hit the condenser coil. And then once you get it in there, the bottom hooks just slide on those brackets. Or excuse me, the bracket slides on those bottom 2 5/16 screws. Okay. And then you secure the top and then just tighten them all down. Bracket is all secured. You got 2 5/16 screws down there, 2 up here, nice and tight. Fan spins freely. We will bring this back and secure this back into place. Right now, we're just routing the wires, and then we're going to be sure that these wires get routed towards the back wall and clipped so that none of these wires end up hitting the fan blade. Yeah, fire it up. All the wires are plugged in where they're supposed to be. Fans in there. Sequence of operations, first 45 seconds. Water pump dump valve. Hot gas valve will open for 5 seconds. Then the compressor will start, and then the hot gas valve will close. That all happens within a 10-second period. Then you end up in pre-chill. During pre-chill, that should kick on. If it does, we're probably in business. If it doesn't, then we might have done something wrong. So compressor just started. We're gonna wait to see if that clicks on. It should. Oh, there we go. We got power. It's spinning, nice and fast, kicking out some heat. We're gonna, as soon as that goes from pre-chill to freeze, we'll start a timer, make sure that this thing drops a batch of ice, and then we'll be on our way. All done with that troubleshooting and repair on the Manitowoc ice machine. If you want to be part of a training like this or receive more training like this, hit me up at icemachine411@gmail.com, and we can talk, see what we can work out.